What's the secret to having difficult conversations? I think it's something we've all faced, personally, professionally, maybe increasingly in this polarized culture. The ability to actually express a difference of opinion or have an uncomfortable conversation seems to be a real art. And certainly at the core of what I do with teams, although we do lots and lots of different things, I actually think at the heart of it is trying to enable a group of people, equip them with skills to come together and to very rapidly be able to surface differences of opinion, passions, differences of style and experience and background and gender and, whatever else, and actually come together, leverage those differences, and come up with some kind of a solution, that is better than, what the individuals in the team could come up with. That's it. So, what have I learned from doing it as a human being, but more importantly, from seeing it done well by leaders, and seeing it done badly by leaders. And yesterday I ran a session in Brisbane for a large organization. It was the CEO and his executive team, his top 8. And it was a perfect example of someone very, very clumsily engaging in an uncomfortable conversation. He did it with, in a blaming way, in a critical way, in a heated way. There was intensity and seriousness. It was heavy. And then we paused and we layered in some content around this as a skill. And then he had another go, and it was a wonderful thing. He was lighter in terms of his emotional content. He was more neutral emotionally. It was clear that there was positive intent there. He got permission first. He took responsibility for what he could in terms of what he perceived to be the challenge. He shared the challenge or the difficulty in a way that was his perception, his experience, as opposed to God's truth. And then he asked a question at the end and did some sense checking and made a dialogue as opposed to just a diatribe, a monologue. And I thought, there's some really, really key elements in there that I think are worth highlighting. Who you're being coming into this, so your emotional state. And my view is that you can pretty much say anything. You can be as direct as you want with people if there's an emotional neutrality there, or even better than that, a positive intent there, and if you get permission first. So there's a beingness to it. There's also something which we don't tend to do, which is getting permission, which is simply just saying, look, being really open with people and saying, look, there's something on my mind and I want to talk about it with you. I'm not quite sure how this is going to come out. I'm a bit worried, if you are, about how it's going to land with you. So I'm not sure if you want to have that conversation or if you want me to just be quiet and not talk about it, keep it to myself. If you do that kind of thing, people will generally lean forward and will want to hear what you're saying. And that's a very different dynamic than if you just start, conversing over somebody. So permission was really important. Lightness, positive intent, taking responsibility, permission. And then just really hit them between the eyes. If you've done those foundational things, don't pussyfoot around, is my experience. You can really just show them the respect of being really open and direct within the context of this is my experience, and followed up by a sense checking question. Is this your experience? Am I completely insane? Am I off the mark here? What do you think? What's your perception of what's going on here? So I wanted to share that with you. This is by no means a comprehensive list, but I have been doing this for many, many years, and I've seen it, as I say, done it many different ways. And I just wanted to share those couple of key attributes that I've noticed that tend to make up this art of having an uncomfortable conversation in a constructive way. And there's such a sense of liberation when you find access to having those conversations and you can be open and you can be honest with people and you can do it in such a way that you don't hurt people or, fall out with them. It's a real superpower. It's particularly effective and essential, in leadership teams. And I would say absent from 80-90% of executive teams. So it's a fascination of mine, and I hope that's interesting to you guys. Have a great week, and I'll speak to you next week.